Why won't my
I
hair
gotta get a shape up, man.
When it gets to my ear, kind of
Why
it
dries out my hair?
It'll grow back.
my hair.
We all have a hair story. Whether it's memories of running around the house with a towel on our heads, wishing it was our hair, struggles with our hair texture and hair identity, or avoiding the 3-hour wait in the barbershop just to get a simple haircut. Today, we can find comfort and hope in each other's hair memories, struggles, and triumphs. Today, we're sharing our story.
Well, actually, my hair was always a problem.
Well, when I was a kid, I remember my mom taking me down to the hairdresser with her.
Being little, maybe about 5, 6, or 7, getting my hair straightened with a hot comb.
I was coming from the playground and I happened to notice somebody who had a red afro, and I'd never seen one before.
I think my hair is poofy because maybe I'd been not brushing it, but maybe I was brushing it. I think I was brushing it. My mommy does my hair. I'm gonna get my hair done today. I'm gonna get it decorated. That's gonna look nice.
No, when I grew up, I always went to the barber shop. My dad would always take me and my brother there.
In elementary school, I had my hair natural. But in middle school, something changed. I had to texturize it and perm it to fit in.
Clinker Top was my nickname, Clinker Top, because I had very thin and short hair as a child.
I'm so bitter sometimes. I had an even Steven when I was little until I was 3 years old, so no one knew if I was a girl or a boy.
My mother was always saying, go comb your hair, go brush your hair, because we just never did, keep it groomed. So therefore she kept it short.
I started cutting hair at the age of 9. Being in the country and being too far from the city, I had to figure out a way to at least make myself look decent.
My hair was close cropped, and so I just, politely asked my parents if I could, grow it out a little bit in a few areas. And I lived in areas where there were fewer black people, and so some of the kids in my 8th grade class were fascinated with touching it and just kind of playing around with it. I didn't mind it too much. Some people might have an objection, but I just, at that time, I just, liked the attention from my classmates.
I remember as a 9 and 10-year-old, I had a brush similar to the brush that a man would use on his beard that I used to brush my hair back, because I didn't have much. 1/8 of an inch would be being generous, just enough to pull back the coils so that they weren't formed tightly, so that you wouldn't have the illusion of what people call rolling beads. And that was me.
I love having long hair. Well, maybe it could be a little more better hair on my face, of course. If my hair was short, I would like it a little bit, but I guess it goes with my clothes, I guess, a little bit. I like my hair long. I don't want my hair short because I'm not going to be able to get my hair long again. I would look like a princess. I want my hair to look like Disney princesses.
When I was 3, I got my hair relaxed, which was a good and bad. I look cute and all, but
I didn't necessarily want my hair to get done. I didn't see why it needed to get done, but I did what my mom said to do.
She would cut our hair, and she'd have one of those handheld, those manual clippers. And the haircuts basically involved coming and sitting in the chair, either in the kitchen or on the back porch. And it never turned out to be anything that you were happy to run to school and show your classmates, because you just looked like, terrible.
My least favorite part of my hair is one ponytail, because it's boring to stare at it.
Getting my hair pressed and curled at the hairdresser, but I always felt I looked like a little old woman, because the styles truly was something that would be on an older woman.
I don't like when people comb my hair because it hurts. Because it feels really hard and it makes my hair feel like it's about to come out.
My least favorite part about the barbershop is sitting in there forever waiting to get a haircut.
And of course, if you just stay still while she was cutting your hair, you'd get knocked in the head. Be still, boy, while I'm cutting your hair before you make me mess up, you know.
So as a kid, it was just like more of an interruption from fun than it was from anything else.
And around 12 years old, I pretty much got good at it. And I started cutting adults' hair. And there were people from around the neighborhood, around the farm, that will come and get their hair cut.
I noticed that my mother started to get more serious about my hair, and I started getting relaxers, and it was just annoying because it was so time consuming, and then my head started to burn, and then I had to rinse it out, and then she had to blow dry it, and then still straighten it anyway with a straightening comb. So it all just seemed so silly and stupid to me.
It takes a long time to get my hair done. I don't like when it takes a long time because I'm gonna get hungry if it takes a long time. I'm gonna get hungry.
In high school, oh yeah, I had to relax it. I had to look good, you know.
It didn't really make a difference to me except when I got burned or something like that with a hot comb. I think too, because I was a tomboy, I really didn't care about how my hair looked on a daily basis. As long as it was smooth back or whatever, it was fine with me.
My two favorite styles are two ponytails and, let's see, rope hair.
As a teenager, I was experimenting a lot with blow drying, and I don't think I damaged anything when I did that, but I did kind of straighten it out a bit.
Having an afro and having the hair in cornrows, you know, that was probably the toughest experience when dealing with my hair, because not only did I have to keep it healthy, you know, but I had to keep it conditioned and maintenance, and that took a lot more time than getting a haircut. While I enjoyed the look, you know, it was very fashionable at the time when I did have, you know, an afro and cornrows. You know, the maintenance to it just wasn't my style, and that's why I ended up getting it cut.
And then eventually I joined the military. Now, granted, up until the military, I had started wearing my hair certain ways. But once I joined the military, the Army, I had to let that go. And wearing my hair a certain way in the military was strictly a high and tight, or you was just completely bald.
I think maybe as I got older as an adult, maybe in my late teens, early 20s, that maybe I started caring a little bit more about how my hair looked. I think maybe too because my hair was longer, I could just, you know, put it into a ponytail and just pull it back on my head and it'd just be in a ponytail, and that was fine, and I could get up and go.
Well, the froze was like a big thing. You know, you had to have a fro. And so there was a couple of problems I had. Number one, I didn't have enough hair. My hair, I somehow it seemed like it always broke off.
You know, in middle school and elementary school, it was pretty thick, but at high school, the joint broke off. There's little pieces, little choice strings just all over my head.
And you finally decided to get a professional perm to try to make it look a little bit straighter and a little nicer, which was okay for a while, but it didn't take long before it all fell out. I guess I was allergic to the perm, or it really damaged the hair. And at that point, I cut it all off. And
when I was in college, it broke off in clumps in the shower because I was trying to relax it myself. It didn't work. So went home and Mom relaxed it again. Within a week's time, it just dwindled out. It was gone. So
it became very brittle and it broke off. And in college, I braided my own hair as I have it now, and I tried the glue-in weaves. And after that, my hair broke off again, and then I tried wigs, covering it all up.
you know, I've had several periods in my life where I have lost a substantial amount of my hair. My family, though, is probably none the wiser because I've cleverly worn all kinds of hair pieces, weaves, wigs, etc., and found very clever ways to make them look very natural in my hair.
I guess I've been a part of the whole natural revolution. I had my hair in an afro. I used to do the transitional styles with the braids and weaves and all of that stuff. I even did wigs for men, but them joints was hot.
I remember a time when my parents got in an argument about me wearing a fake ponytail on my head. My mother and my father got in a huge argument about it, and I just couldn't understand what they were arguing for. It just seemed, it's a ponytail, like who cares?
Of course, the problem I found also is that some black men honestly believe that they can touch our hair and run their hands through it, just like they've seen their white counterparts do with their women. But these black brothers soon find out that they should not do that, especially if that sister is wearing a weave.
And one of the reasons why I've changed so many styles is because in the careers that I've had as a professional, there weren't very many of us, African Americans, and females at that. And so there was a certain standard, an unsaid standard of what was professional, and that was a relaxed look. It was no jerry curl, no curls, no afros, part bushes, not even the braid thing. The braiding thing just wouldn't work. And the dreads, that would have been totally unacceptable 10, 15 years ago.
Some people were like, oh, how did you get it natural? How did you get it to curl? Not understanding that, that's how your hair grows out your head. And I can see how that could happen because, if you have your hair relaxed for most of your life and you've never seen your hair before, you may try to wonder, how do you get it to grow out curly?
I guess I pretty much found myself hiding my real hair from my spouse. And I did this because I felt that my hair just wasn't as long, and lustrous as I felt that he probably would have liked it to be.
My girl, she takes a lot of time doing her hair, and I think that it pays off in the end because it always looks nice. I can't complain.
Black men talk a good game about hair. And specifically, they want to tell black women to remain true to their natural hair.
And sometimes she gets a little crazy with what she does to her hair, and she spends all the time doing it, and then sometimes doesn't like it.
You watch them looking at magazines and TV commercials on TV, and you just see them in awe as the other races shake their long, flowing locks on the TV screen. And this whole thing just seems so hypocritical to me.
I don't know. Me being a guy, keep it simple.
Well, I wanted to level the playing field with other long hair sisters, other women of color, or perhaps white, Asian, Indian, Latino. And I did this by increasing the length or softening the texture of the hair.
But now, I think that what people consider professional is changing. It's changing in the minds of African Americans, and it's changing in the minds of others. But it still is a question in all of our minds when we go into a place, if we're getting a job. Should I pull my hair back and put on a wig to look like everyone else? Or should I come as I am, as I'm allowed in church?
Well, I like it when it's straight, I think. Because you get to wave it back and forth like in the wind, of course. My favorite part of my hair is the back of it because it's more poofy. When I have with braids on the top and 2 buns there and one other braid down there.
As soon as I exited the military, roughly before I transitioned out of the military, I had what they call terminal leave. So I had like 60 days of doing whatever I wanted to do, but I was still in the military. I dyed my hair, and I also dreaded my hair or tried to lock my hair while I was in the military. And when I came out, I wore it roughly for maybe 5 or 6 months up to a year. And I wanted to keep it, but I'd taken a job that was a uniform job in the government, and I had to cut it all off.
I did the whole natural thing and tried to get my hair to grow out natural, and I actually liked it. I don't know if my boo at the time liked it. I don't know if my girls liked it, whatever.
I noticed, like I said, that a lot of people had more comments about my hair than I did.
Right. When I have my hair natural, I feel like I get respect not just from black people, but from other people. And also there's like a sense of fear. It's like a black power movement. When you got an afro, you've got the short dreads, it's a sense of empowerment to yourself and to the people around you.
I don't waste my time trying to go to a club when I'm not looking fresh, because, you know, it's a waste of time to spend all this money to get in the club, and then you go in there, you drop $20 to get in, and then you're not looking your best, and you try to approach a girl, you know, first thing, you know, she gonna look at you. You know, if you ain't looking your best, you know, she probably ain't giving you a chance. So I don't waste my time if I'm not fresh. I don't like to go more than 2 weeks without getting my hair cut, because otherwise I don't look sharp. You know, it's one thing as a man to not look sharp and look like a bear, and with, you know, looking all hairy and everything and not looking sharp.
I hate having a ponytail because it looks dumb. Yeah, it looks dumb and stupid. Because I just don't like it. Like, there's no special to it at all. It's just a ponytail.
When I've had my hair relaxed, it appears that you suddenly become more approachable, fun-loving, and likable. When you have the braids, it could go either way. But when you have your hair natural, you become this fierce black woman that can't be reckoned with. So I don't have a problem with that. But I do when I look in the mirror.
No joke. Weave 1 week, braids the next week. I just couldn't keep my hands up my hair. It was like hand to hair disease, if you see like on YouTube and whatnot. Like, it was ridiculous.
It's washing, it's blow drying, it's flat ironing or not flat ironing. It's just.
I consider myself a professional, and I do not have the time to spend in my career with such drastic measures. So given that, I made the choice that on the weekends I would wear my own natural hair and have that done, but during the week I was going a wig all the way. I didn't even have time for weaves, just too much, too demanding. Maybe a hairpiece occasionally, perhaps, if you want a ponytail.
Well, I believe my hair is pretty good. You know, I hope growing up that at least my sons will have, you know, as good as hair as I do, and I hope that, you know, I'll be able to pass along, you know, things that, you know, I've learned about, you know, keeping the hair in good condition and healthy.
When I dropped my daughter off to school, her school is 100% African American, and about 50% of the class has their hair strictly done with gel put back, and it's completely tight and neat and tidy, and not a strand out of place. Well, the other half looks a bit disheveled, but those must be the working moms.
My friends at school is like, they're like smooth, like they put oil in their hair or something. Like, every time I visit school, they have oil in her, or some of them are poofy, like mine.
Their hair looks like two ponytails and with curly hair and straights and braids in the back.
You know, as an adult, having a child who is 10, and I wouldn't say her hair is problematic, but she has a lot of hair, and I don't like to spend a lot of time doing her hair either. Even just washing it, that's just time consuming. Kids want to have fun, kids want to play, they don't want to sit down and have their hair done for, you know, 3-5 hours or whatever.
I try to have the edges combed and pressed and laid down if possible, even on my own hair, and I prefer that it's done on small children. It just feels, in general, it looks a little bit more groomed. They don't necessarily have to have, you know, a whole bunch of braids and stuff, but the edges to me just, unfortunately, is just a sign of unkept hair, in my opinion, regardless of the length of the hair.
I don't make a big deal about it with my own daughter. If her hair's all over her head, then it's all over her head. You know, I don't say you need to smooth it down, you need to, you know, whatever. But I will say, if I do flat iron it, and I take the time to spend the 2 hours that it takes to flat iron it, I don't want her to get it wet again such that it reverts back to its natural state. That's probably the only thing I can say that I am picky about. But other than that, I want her to be a free spirit and to not really worry about what people think about her hair or how it looks or whether it's flat ironed or whether it's curly.
It became apparent that, in the back of my head, there's like a little balding there. And then so the whole thing with the fro just kind of like, it just didn't work for me because I couldn't maintain it. And also I was balding prematurely. And so what I did, I just said, hey, I'm just going to comb the stuff back. I looked at Frederick Douglass and said, he looks good with his hair combed back. I'm going to do the same thing. I can't maintain this this thing with the hair.
At least for my hair, my gray hair is finer than my hair that I've had all my life. So you got two different textures in your head. It's hard to dye it. And, because of our hair textures, we cannot put a lot of chemicals in at the same time, or you most certainly will lose all of your hair. So you're spending 1 week dyeing, 1 week coloring the hair, 1 week trying to get the gray out, 1 week putting the perm in, or if you wear a weave, then you're spending time getting that out and getting this in. And it's like something major every week.
Well, in the last couple of years, I've kind of resigned myself to my condition. Obviously, I have an issue with androgenic alopecia, which closes the hair follicles and hair doesn't grow as well. And so I had some good results earlier with using biotin, which was promoted as something very healthy for the hair. But I know that the crown area is the typical area where hair loss happens, and points, along the hairline, which is receded a little bit.
One day when I started to go bald, I'm going Rick Ross on them just because it's something I'm interested in doing, rather than, putting stuff in my hair to help my hair grow or, the whole bald look. I mean, losing your hair look is just not what I want to do. So I'm going bald. I'm going to cut it all off, and then I'm going to shave it so that I'm super clean. Look like Mr. Shine out here. And I'm going to grow out this full beard for everything, keep that nice and sharp.
And the gray hair, well, you just have to keep dyeing that when I wear my hair natural. Or either of that, or I'll have to make the decision what day I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to be who I am at that stage. I'm not quite yet there. I have a younger husband. He's just starting to get a little salt and pepper in his head. Maybe once he's gone over, I can afford to do that.
If I'm going to go bald, I'm going to go bald, and I'm just going to cut it off. To me, it looks silly to have a bald spot when the rest of your hair is trying to grow. Just cut it off and keep it uniform.
A lot of my perspective had changed, and while hair is nice to look at, I no longer feel the need to actually have these things.
In any case, it seems like we just can't win on this issue.
And now, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying some locks. And it's been very hard on this road to getting hair perfection. I just wonder, is it predestined in my genes for my hair to be this way? So what is it to say? I just can't figure it out.
I'm glad for what I was able to do with my hair up to this point. And I look forward to the future where perhaps I might have other options to be more creative with it.
I understand that, especially in the African American community, we all have different types of hair, and some may be more problematic than others in terms of how long you have to deal with doing it. But it's probably, I guess, it's just a burden to me regardless of what type of hair you have.
After having every style known to man and kind of like obsessing over my hair, I finally decided to lock it instead of having it in 5 other different styles. And really, it gave me so much more time, because instead of spending 8 hours on my hair on the weekends, putting in weaves and taking stuff out, I just do my hair once a month. I just relash it, wash it whenever I need to wash it, and it's just simple. So I'm surprised that me, hair queen, just actually decided to kind of let it be.
I've been out of the military for 10 years now, well 12 years now, and I can wear my hair any kind of way. And I always have this philosophy, it's no reason to keep something that's going to fade away. Hair, to me, is not important.
I mean, I'm not bitter about the hairstyles that I have now because, I mean, my mom, she did the best that she could. She knew how to relax it, she knew how to straighten it, so that's what she did. She made sure that I had what I needed. But I guess later on in life, I just took a different route.
Life's too short to worry about your hair. I think it doesn't define you. It's just something that's on your head.
And it's kind of unfortunate that, you know, that this is where we are, but the whole problem with the hair thing, the whole struggle, it all originated back from this notion that somehow or another black folks' hair is somehow not good enough, and that it was a mark of inferiority. And so much of my life has been around overcoming that.
We all have a hair story. By continuing to share our stories, we can walk together on our journey towards happier hair stories. Continue learning at understandingblackhair.com, the place with answers to reconcile us and our kinks.